Hello, everyone. My name is Jacob Fortin. I'm the host of this podcast, Doers Within Emerging Markets. And I just want to share my experience with using Anchor so far. When the pandemic started, I thought about starting a podcast, and the whole idea was to bring in some really amazing folks that are doing some great work in their respective industries within the emerging markets. And the Anchor platform really helped me get the word out there and also just make it a lot easier for me to invite the guest and just share the amazing experiences they've had and the amazing work they're doing in their respective industries within the emerging markets. Um, it's pretty fun. You don't even worry about the technical part of making a podcast. You actually just focus more on the content. And Anchor has done it really well for me. So I will highly encourage anybody who is trying to start a podcast to try to use. Just check out Anchor, and I think you won't regret it. I'm not a technical person, but if you listen to these episodes that I've been publishing so far, it seems like I know what the technical part of it, but Anchor helps you take care of the technical part, and you just focus on the content. So feel free to check it out. I highly encourage you won't regret it, and it's right there. You don't pay anything. So in times like this, I think starting a podcast and getting the word out there, irrespective of what you're doing, will be a really great experience. So thank you guys for listening to my episodes. Please check out Anchor, and you will have a great time. So cheers, guys, and see you guys next episode. Thanks. How is it like doing business in Angola? I know at the time you came in, I think you said there was a civil unrest. Pride going just came out from a civil war in the early 2000s. How was that climate changed, and how do you see the future of doing business in places like Angola moving forward?
Look, man, I think that it'll always be a challenge in these markets, and I think that actually technology is going to be our savior in these country saviors, because technology creates transparency, and it creates good communication, right? Like you're not going to be able to, pay people off like people used to and do stuff like that. And so I hope that creates and forces transparency. And the the interesting thing is, I remember when I went into Angola, everybody was like, oh man, and everybody always asked me, how do you do business there? It's so corrupt and this and that. And I was like, it's corrupt if you play that game, and I was always very, very cautious because I'm an American and I'm very public. So I never ever had thank God, the opportunity or the desire to play that game. And we did fine, and I think that people get caught up in this with the perceived notion that that's how you have to do business. And then they get into that and then they're stuck in that game, right? Because then what's going to happen is people aren't going to keep, doing business with you if you're not paying them off then, right? But if you came in and you're like, man, look, I've just got the best product at the best price and I'm going to do a great job at it. If you don't want it, fine, but once again, if you don't go into that route and don't don't get caught into temptation like that, Angola was considered one of the most corrupt nations in the world. And we never, ever, ever had to play that way, and we've done fine and we continue to. And maybe some things take a little bit longer and maybe you don't win all the deals, but you sleep well at night.
Exactly. So one of the initiatives that I'm trying to enforce is or trying to bring to light is the book I'm trying to write that is trying to inspire Africans in diaspora to come back home and build companies. And kind of the premise of the book is, how can we create, provide objective knowledge and information on how business is done on the continent. So you've kind of touched on this a little bit. Can you share a little bit about uh, objective truth of what is considered, the right information on doing business, or, just gathering data that kind of helped you to think of how, whether this information is right or wrong, or, this information has to be tested again, or, I have to do some background check on that information. What has your experience been with that? And how did you kind of navigate the waters if that was challenging for you to actually get the right information of like, okay, this is how I need to reach that company. This is how I need to find the right founders. This is how I need to find the right partners. How was that experience for you like? And do you think there's a way in which moving forward we have to create a platform maybe that people can report objective truth of how business is done on the continent?
Yeah, man, honestly, I if I understand, it's a tough one, and
Yeah.
if we um our example, if I'm answering your question correctly, it was literally just going out to the market and doing some good market analysis and seeing what people were buying and selling cell phones for, and just going out there finding out and making sure that we saw that there was a business opportunity there which we could make some margin in, and I luckily had come from this company Brightstar that I was telling you about,
Yeah.
that I first worked at, and so I had a good supply, and I was targeting a market that not a lot of people were really looking at.
Exactly.
So yeah, so we went in there and did it strong.
Yeah.
And we just really just did, we went in and analyzed, found out what people were buying and selling phones for. And it was crazy. At that time, the mobile phone business globally is about a 2% margin business.
Mhm.
And there, man, the market was doing 70-80% margin. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So, we were able to come in and, make, cut prices in half, still make a good margin, and help develop the market.
So I think the following questions that I wanted to ask for us to wrap up the episode was, um, what's your take on the future of emerging markets? Some of them are burning on the African continent. How do you see the trend in that, in terms of that development? And how that will be like in the coming years, especially with what happened with unfortunately with the COVID pandemic. If you can just give your take on that, we'll really appreciate it.
Yeah, man, I think that, Africa is the last frontier, really is, and it's the growth that we are going to see in the next 20 years in Africa is unparalleled to anywhere else in the world. If you're looking at just a macroeconomic level, like, it's going north and going north strong. And yeah, there will be some hiccups here and there, and it'll take its time, but it's a blessing that it'll take us time, because it allows us as entrepreneurs to be able to go out there now and to really get settled and get in and build and understand and just grow a little bit, because especially if you're going in as an entrepreneur, you're not going in as one of the big guys, and the big guys will come in when this takes off, and it's starting and people know, so it's my advice is to just go in it knowing that the wind is heading north, and that, as long as you do a good job and you're doing your best and you do your homework and life is just like school, you gotta, if you do your homework and you do your studying and you do everything that you need to do, you're gonna get an A on the test, and that's, at the end of the day, it's the same thing with business. If you go out there and if you're, let's say, I don't know, starting an importing business, and you go and you meet with every single buyer that's in the country, you know what they're buying, what they're purchasing at, you find out all the transportation costs, you find out from your suppliers, every supplier that you can possibly find, what the best price is and what the best quality is. You've done your homework, and then you're going to be able to say, okay, I can see that there's a business here, and boom, and you just go at it full. And once again, the market's heading north. You know, Africa is going to boom. There's no question about it. It is the last frontier in the world. It's the fastest growing, you know, region of the world, and it will continue to be. Yep. You know, so it's, my advice is just to, you know, once again, do your homework. Yes. and believe in yourself, and everything is in your mind. So once you know that you have really done everything that you can, once you know that you have checked every supplier that you can, once you know that you've gone out and reached out to every potential client that you have, you will know and you will believe that you will be able to do it, and you will.
Exactly. Well, it was such a pleasure to have you. I'm truly honored, and I do think the listeners really value your words of advice based on the many years of experience you've had, and the results results that you have delivered is just a true evidence of you living by your actions and true to the Babson's entrepreneurial thought and action. So thank you so much for being here. I would love to have you back for another hour or two.
Anytime, Jacob. It was a pleasure meeting you, man. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for your words are way too kind, and you're throwing me way too much praise. And we are all just men in this little planet, and trying to do our best. And anything I can ever do to support, I'm here for you. And realize you got a badass education. We are very special and very privileged people to have gone through the great institution, and keep going on and doing great things, man. I'm here for you. Anything I can do.
Thank you so much.
And hi to all the Babson community.
Yes, definitely. Okay, see you guys in the next episode. Alexander from based in Angola.
Cheers,
amazing.
Bye.
Bye.